Welcome back to Energy Discussions. This time we're going to be talking about, we're start like a mini series within our mini series called Franchises That Deserve Better. And this is basically like any, ongoing series that has either not gotten a release in a long time, or the releases have been, less than what people would have wanted, or they, just a bunch of different scenarios that the title kind of implies. Franchises that deserve better. So what is our franchise for our first episode? What are we doing first?
Battlefront from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Just the whole thing. Because we, both of us grew up playing the original 2. And when the 2015 one came out, I played that a lot.
So did I.
Yes. But me in particular, I had over 300 hours in it. So, that's kind of a bit. But yeah, we've played a lot of Battlefront, that's the point.
Yeah.
And lately, there's been some news going around where it doesn't seem like EA is interested in Battlefront 3, which any fans of the classic, this is going to sound real familiar to you.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
So, why don't you start with why does Battlefront deserve more games?
Well, we could talk about both Battlefronts here, honestly. Obviously, the classic ones, everybody knows them, everybody loves them. It had, a class-based system. There was a lot of depth to the different characters you could choose, tons of maps. Everything was faithful to Star Wars in basically every single way. The games were masterpieces, honestly, and you won't find many people who disagree. So obviously, they would deserve another one. What might seem a little more controversial at first is the EA Battlefronts also deserve a third one.
I don't think so. I don't think that's controversial because for some reason, a lot of people, it's fine, it's decent, but a lot of people really like the 2017 one. EA's Battlefront 2, they think that they actually did a lot to it and, all the post-game support, and they were disappointed when it stopped receiving post-game support. They wanted to see a third game that would add on to it even more, basically. That's their gateway to more post-game support as a brand new game. Which...
That makes sense.
At this point, I think it's unrealistic to talk about the original Battlefronts getting a sequel. I just don't think that would ever happen at this point, because the studio who made it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. Who was making it. So we would just have to be looking at, let's just talk about a Battlefront 3 made by, I guess, EA, DICE, and what we would want from it, what we would expect from it. And I would assume we would be looking at basically not so much taken from the 2015 version, right? Because
more so taken from Battlefront 2.
Yeah, because they didn't carry a whole lot. So how about let's start with the main gameplay function here, star cards. Do you think those would come back?
I think if they did come back, they would come back in the Battlefront 2 style, where you get a certain amount of upgrade slots, and you could upgrade, certain aspects about your character.
Uh-huh.
But even then, I'm not sure if they'd want to bring that back, or if it should be brought back, because while it adds a sense of, making your characters better, it also kind of just feels like you'd run the meta thing, and then if you don't run the meta thing, you're kind of just behind everybody else.
So interesting.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. Interestingly, I'm pretty sure the only reason they returned from the first game, 2015, is because they were planning on attaching loot boxes to them, and their plans got cut off. So, let's just, obviously, I don't think their loot boxes are going to be making an appearance. Do you think that would change their decision? They probably wouldn't do star cards. Maybe back to a classic class system?
I could see them going either way. Obviously, I think the class system would be what they go with overall, because they did that in Battlefront 2.
Mm-hmm. And you could obviously still sell like skins for classes, right?
Yeah, I think they've learned that cosmetics are the way to go. Just look at games like Fortnite that have made billions off of their cosmetics alone.
Yeah. And Star Wars is easy money in that regard, because guess what? It's all made already. They just got to import assets and boom. Yep. It's not like they got to design new stuff.
I mean, look at all the clone trooper costumes that they had in Battlefront 2.
Yeah, already. And that was like just scratching the surface of it. They could do so much more. And if you had the different classes, let's just say there's like 7 classes or whatever, and you had like 10 skins per class times at least 4 factions, that's
a lot.
But yeah. So I think it's a really popular franchise. I think it's the best. Sad face. It's the best franchise. I'm sorry, what am I saying? It's the best-selling franchise that Star Wars has video game-wise. And it can still be, because I think, I saw someone talking about this. They don't have to worry about, bad PR or the fact that there's no movies right now to tie in or anything like that, because I think the name alone will sell. They don't have to worry about anything else, right?
Also, I think it's been proven by Battlefront 2 that even if they have literally the worst PR any video game has ever seen, they can still make money.
Yeah, you can mess up as, like, literally get in legal trouble and you'll still be fine. So, I don't think they have anything to worry about there. But, back to, just because, let's say they're doing that though, right? Just because they're doing a Battlefront 3 EA version, which I'm guessing, would just be an innovation of everything. How about the originals? I think, even though we wouldn't get a third one of those, I think we should get, remasters.
I do think remasters is in the realm of possibility. Obviously, it's still not very likely, but it is possible.
I think it is. I would say necessary is the right word, because they're still classics, and you can even release them like 6 months or a year before the third one comes out, just to get people kind of back into it. But these games are not on consoles right now at all. The first 2 Battlefronts, and you could clean them up, remasters, put them together, sell them as a double pack for $60, and you're set right there.
Just like that.
And honestly, it doesn't even have to be a remaster, like I guess a remake, but like you just clean up the textures, bring them up to somewhat modern looking standards. No one's asking for like an overhaul or anything, but it's just, just make it look better. I think honestly, if you didn't even do that, you just threw on like a Combat Evolved, like, how they did with MCC, where it's the same exact graphics, it just looks nicer. I don't think anyone would complain as long as they get to play the game, right?
Yeah.
It's at that point.
And even with like, the Combat Evolved Remastered, you could just swap to the old graphics, and people would be fine swapping to the old graphics because it's the same game that they know and that they love and they would want to play again. Yeah. At this point, it's not even about like getting a remaster. It's just about having the game be available for a whole generation of fans to play.
Just give people the option. They will sell. And like, if we're just talking about upgrading textures here and then, I guess porting the game, optimizing it for consoles, which it was originally intended for, I'm pretty sure. Just do that, and we're good. That's all we're looking for. But
it's all you need.
So let's back to EA's Battlefront 3. We're looking at obviously a modern title here. It's gonna have modern things in it. So do you think, let's just say charging for customization,
It's inevitable.
Okay, but we got to look at Halo Infinite here. The thing that was always free, they're now charging for. So how would that go over?
I think, obviously, because if they were smart, the way they do it is that, you could have your sense of pride and accomplishment to have 80 hours to get your cosmetics. They could literally just pull a Battlefront 2, but instead of locking people like Darth Vader behind it, they could just do cosmetics, and then people wouldn't complain nearly as much. Obviously, people would still complain, but they would have a lot less of ground to stand on.
You're saying the option just has to be there, no matter how long it takes, it has to be there to get it for free?
I think if they want to avoid a lot of problems, it's just the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, because I just...
And I get that that's, not what the executives want to hear if they're watching this video, but if you want to not have a repeat of Battlefront 2, that's what you're going to need to do.
Yeah. So, how about a Battlefront 3 or a new Battlefield title? Which one do you think their priorities should be on right now?
I think they've proven with the most recent Battlefield game that they shouldn't be trusted right now with that. So honestly, they should probably try to go back to Star Wars first. I don't even know what happened with the most recent Battlefield game, but I just know it was not good.
Yeah, what happened was they didn't make Battlefield. So would they even be trusted to make Star Wars?
Well, they were trusted to make Star Wars, and they already messed it up. So
That's true.
At this point, they just can't mess it up even more. Yeah. I really don't think they can mess up as badly as they already have. So at this point, them making a new Star Wars game is just the smartest play they can.
Well, any final things to add here? Just, we need a new Battlefront 3. It needs to happen.
Take more clone troopers.
More clone troopers. Take points from every previous iteration of Battlefront, whether it's the EA ones or not. More customization is always better. And, just, I guess, how about new eras, or just stay with the 4 or the 6, I guess, would they even want to do? I guess they'd be forced to do sequels, but let's just say 6. Would you want to see anything outside of the 6?
I could see them realistically doing Old Republic, which would be a pretty good selling point if, Disney, that's a completely different video, but if Disney ever did anything Old Republic, I could see them making a Battlefront 3 to tie into that, and that would be a pretty genius way to do it.
Yeah, that's true, but right now it just feels like they'd have to go so far out of their way to do something like that. I cannot see. I think
they had to go out of their way to do a lot of stuff in the original Battlefront and Battlefront 2, so it's not outside the realm of possibility. It's just very unlikely at this current.
Yeah.